Some protesters engaged in vandalizing bank buildings, police stations, and shops during the rallies that started Friday and swept through about 40 Iranian cities. The government's response has been much more brutal than in previous mass demonstrations, sparking concern worldwide.
We're deeply concerned by reported violations of international norms and standards on the use of force, including the firing of live ammunition against demonstrators in Iran during the protests that began on Friday and have continued into this week.
Iranian President Hassan Rouhani said the riots were instigated by foreign powers.
Those anarchists who came out onto the streets were few in number. However, they were organized and armed, and their actions were based on a plot hatched by old-fashioned regimes in the region, the Zionists and Americans.
Amnesty International says more than 100 demonstrators lost their lives in the government crackdown, and some reports say the toll is more than 200. At least 4 members of the security forces also were killed. Analysts say Iran has had many deadly protests in the past half-century, and they have rarely ended with regime change.
Because the people with the guns, the people with the prisons, the people with the intelligence services are all getting paid, and they're doing just fine because of the way the system is set up, and it works. And they're perfectly willing to suppress the other people. I doubt if 100 is the right number. They don't really care. It could be 100, it could be 10,000.
Robbie Barrett, a scholar at the Middle East Institute, told VOA Persian Service using sanctions or offering economic incentives to Iranians won't make a difference because Iran's military elite controls much of the economy and wants to keep it that way.
Unless there's just a major collapse of order across the board, they'll maintain something. And what they may do is, after everyone is hurting, they may come back and say, okay, well, we're going to cut the increase in half, or we're going to cut it by 3/4, or we'll rescind the increase, and they'll look for another way to squeeze the economy to do what they need to do.
However, Barrett said some changes in Iran are bound to take place in the near future. Iran's current supreme leader, Ali Khamenei, has had the military support since the Iran-Iraq war, but he is aging and reportedly ill. Barrett said Khamenei's successor will not have the same support, and the military elite will most likely retake its traditional leading role. Zlarica Hoke, VOA News, Washington.